Hello and welcome to the Warp Source News. I'm Gus.
I'm Sean.
I'm going to go through some recent news that the Gaming Workshops have released. So quite a lot of news at the beginning of this year. I think we're going to start. What we're going to start with, Sean?
Well, we've got some rumours here, so it's kind of, some of it's going to be true, some of it may not come to fruition, but we'll see what happens. But to start off with, we're going to talk about something that came out today, the 21st of January, the new Demon Prince model. Now I'm going to ping you over a link here, Gus, to have a look at this. Right, can you see that? Click on that. Take a look at this model. How cool does that look?
It's very detailed, yeah. I can see a lot of spiky bits.
There are, yeah. It's a Demon Prince. There are going to be some spikes on it. There's some skulls. Check out the tail, man.
So I automatically scroll down a little bit. I can see there's a choice of heads. Does that seem right? Are they different, like, demon heads for the different fractions? I forget what you call it now.
Yeah, the different gods. So you've got Khorne, obviously, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and Nurgle. And it's quite, I think it's really nice they've done this. They've given you this selection, so you can take this Demon Prince, you can put it into your existing army, no problems. And I think there's a fifth head as well. Yeah, it's the one on the model, like the main model picture you can see there at the front. It's kind of a non-descriptive head if you want to go for Chaos Undivided. Really cool though.
I do like the fact that you got those different head choices. It kind of, like, customizable, like it's like customizable in the box. You get to choose.
Oh yeah, and I know which one I know which one you'll go for.
Yeah. Well, I got currently is demons, right? So I'm a Khorne, I guess. But I mean,
Skulls for the skull throwing, Gus.
yeah. Do you need to have? I mean, what's the law stipulations? Like, I have a Khorne army, but could I have like a Nurgle-headed demon prince show up?
Well, not really. Not, I mean, not if you're in a Khorne army. You couldn't kind of mix and match like that, really. I mean, yeah, Khorne isn't gonna like Nurgle as much as Slaanesh, but still, you know, Khorne's all about let's be honourable to a certain extent. Let's take some skulls. Let's quick kills. Nurgle's the complete opposite to that almost. Like, let's prolong the pain. Let's try and give people the satisfaction of an agonizing death. So it's quite different. Yeah, I don't think that the Khorne army are going to like that if you bring along a Nurgle.
I guess they have their own like killing preferences. That's what I refer to it as. But could you not like refer to it as like that weird uncle from the other like side of the family that everybody kind of like tolerates, but likes killing in a slightly different manner than us? But we kind of like, all right, come on, Uncle Nurgle.
Well, that sounds quite funny. So yeah, I mean, next time we play each other, why not? You know, you can do what you want in those games. I just don't think that if you're having a proper match with someone that I don't know, they might not like it. But you know, some people are quite, you know, they'll do some stuff for fun. It definitely would be interesting.
But like the Christmas meal, you can come along, but for general day-to-day hobbying, he's gonna have to stick with your own family.
Yeah, unless you go Chaos Undivided, in which case, you know, you could put any of these heads on really for Chaos Undivided, or you could put the non-descriptive head on. They all look cool. I think they all look good.
Is it a slightly bigger model than the original, you reckon? I can't tell.
I can't tell either, and actually, I can't see. I mean, it's not showing any of these pictures we're looking at here. And for anyone watching on YouTube, we'll put these pictures up so you can see what we're looking at. But yeah, I can't see wings, which might make it feel like it's smaller, even if it's not.
True. Did it originally have wings? I forget now.
Yeah, Demon Prince. Yeah. I don't know if I've never actually collected demons, but from what I've seen in pictures online, I think everyone I've seen has got wings. Yeah, not 100% sure on that, but wings usually do come with it. That sword looks awesome though. I really like the kind of rune carvings that go up the blade.
Yeah. Is that painted or is that actual plastic?
It's unknown at this point in time. I've not seen the model myself, but I expect that it is engraved, so you can then, you paint over the engravings almost. Be surprised.
It does lead me to the ultimate question. I was like, what do I do with my previous ones? Do I like store them away and buy new ones? Like, what do you do with like when new models come out?
Put them on the fire, melt them down.
Melt them down. More plastic for the plastic god.
No, you've got to keep them. It's got to be a saga of this is what my painting was like, and this is what it's like now. Sometimes it's not that different, I find. But there's sometimes a nice progression. An airbrush is a good investment, I have to say. It does improve your painting quite a lot, and save you a bit of time too.
Okay, cool. What else is on the agenda for today?
Well, we've got this next release, which is coming out on the 28th of January, which is something for the fans. It's a Guard release. Now, I've never played Guard myself, but I have looked at the models, and sometimes I do think maybe I want a Guard army. Although the painting the thing is what puts me off. Although I'm currently collecting orcs, as you know, Gus, so that's a whole pretty much the same sort of deal. They're horde armies you're dealing with a lot of the time with these things. I do like the tanks and things, but there are a number of releases coming out on the 28th. So if you want to have a look at this link, I'm going to send over to you now. There we go. Have a click on that. We'll have a look at some of these models.
Yeah, of course. So the first ones I see are ones called the Death Corps. Is that right? Is that the
Death Corps? We're going to make a lore video about the Death Corps at some point. I do like the story of the Death Corps. They're basically the worst. They have the worst deal, or the greatest commitment to the Imperium, I think, of any Imperial Guard army. But they have the worst deal of any Imperial Guard army. I don't want to go into too many details of lore at this point in time, but yeah, just know that they're living their best life in the worst way. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I mean, I would if I had to run around with a gas mask everywhere I went.
Yeah, well. And the funny thing is, those gas masks don't actually protect them against a lot. So it helps it must help a little bit, but there is some nasty stuff in the 40k universe that can definitely get through a gas mask.
Someone's really bad lunch. As long as it protects against that, then you're a winner.
There is a secondary reason why they do wear them, or rumoured reason why they wear them, but we can get into that when we get into the lore of the Death Corps at some point in the future. But yeah, very nice model, I think. I do like the fact they have the mask on. It looks quite cool. You paint one of them, you're going to paint the rest of your army because they all have these masks on. The weapon looks really cool. I like the bayonet on this weapon. It looks a bit different to a normal knife, I think. Yeah.
It's not an aggressive looking weapon. It's not overly like flamboyant. It's kind of like, it is what it is. Pointy stick, gun, sorted.
See, you're comparing it to what else exists in the 40k universe, from an aggressive perspective.
Yeah, or even like a machine gun, like in today's modern things. I'm thinking, if I was Death Corp, I'd be like looking at Space Marines gun. I'm like, can I have one of those instead? Like,
yeah, well, they'd be so lucky. I mean, the las rifles, they're what they get,
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at this Jungle Fighter next. So I just moved on to the next one. His gun, his sword that is stuck in the ground is bigger than almost the entire gun of the Death Corp.
Yeah. So the Kachin fighters, they're basically all Rambo. That's what they're modeled after. So we're gonna talk about these guys when we do a lore video as well. Yeah, they live in the jungle. They come from a jungle world. They're basically Rambo. Anyone who's seen Rambo, you're gonna love the Kachin fighters. Like you say, massive knives, Gus. It's Rambo's knife. It's a bit of a joke when he's like opening his cans of food and stuff with it. But yeah, these guys have taken it to the extreme. They're like, anyone that's kind of listening to the podcast and who isn't catching this on the YouTube channel where we will put pictures up, the knife that we're talking about is basically a sword. It's not really a knife. How would you describe it, Gus?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a massive weapon. It's definitely. I mean, if I was to try and open like a can of beans with that, I'll be like skewering like the kitchen sink, whatever. So it's a formidable.
Definitely, you cut the table in half while you're open. You can for sure. It's as long as his rifle. I mean,
I don't know how would you choose to use both at the same time. I mean, he's got his stuck in the ground, so maybe that's the only way you can carry his gun. But
yeah, definitely. I mean, he's pointing. He's dropping his knife. He's having a point. He's going to cut through some jungle with that thing. That's all I can say. There's not much in the terms of vines that are going to stand in his way, and he's going to need it as well.
Yeah,
coming from their home planet. But yeah, if we go down to the next model, then so we have here we go. This sort of it kind of spells out the Rambo theme because this guy's called Sly Marbo.
Yeah, no puns intended, or pun intended, but yeah. That's a Rambo. He doesn't even go with the solid protection of a full bandana. He's just got a Command Rambo headband and a cigar, obviously, for the extra.
And another knife that's as long as his leg. The thing I don't like about this model is the orc head he's standing on. Obviously, being an orc player myself. But, you know, it's a cool model. He looks like Rambo. They all look like Rambo. This guy looks particularly like Rambo. Probably Rambo 3, would you say? If you had to pick a Rambo film. It's been a while since I've seen them.
Yeah, one of those ilks, definitely.
Nice. So next, we've got a Commissar. Now, I know you don't know much about the Guard, Gus. Do you know anything about a Commissar?
Not off the bat.
These guys are sort of 1 in a million type individuals. They're the type of person that if you don't do as you're told, or if you're not fully committed to the assault, then they will shoot you just to make an example of you. In fact, what they'll probably do before you go into making the assault, which is probably going to end in your death anyway, they'll shoot someone just to say, bang, you know, this is how we're going to deal with this if you don't do as I say. Basically, that's what a Commissar's there for, is to reinforce the will of the Imperium and make sure that you're giving your all in this battle.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that a few of these have extra special rules and has one for like get back in the fight. So I can see how that would make sense law-wise.
Exactly. And this order he's got here, look, forwards for the Emperor. Get back in the fight. Yeah, so Commissar, again, I've never played Guard myself, but, you know, he looks like a pretty commanding type guy. He's got a pretty big sword too.
Yeah, they all do well with swords in this game.
But yeah, apart from that, he's a guy in a trench coat, basically, with some boots. And he's got a pistol and a sword. What's more to say? Commanding presence.
Yeah. So yeah, unlike yourself, like you mentioned earlier, I'm not a big Imperial fan, but like what we're going to come up next wise, they do have some nice artillery.
Yeah.
And this they've just gone all out with the name. It's the God Spear Warhead, which looks pretty devastating.
It's a Death Strike missile launcher with a Godspear Warhead on top of it. And you're right, this is probably one of the best missiles I've seen in 40k, if not the best missile. It's just completely. It looks like it's going to absolutely devastate stuff, and it does look. If you read these rules here, so after you fire it, that if you hit, the unit suffers 8 mortal wounds. And on a 4 or 5, that unit suffers 12 mortal wounds. On a 6, that unit suffers 16 mortal wounds to the unit. I mean, it looks like it would do those types of wounds. Don't get me wrong. It's a devastating weapon. But yeah, the Guard do have some impressive artillery.
And it's for each one of the units within the 3 inches that it lands, right? So it's up to 16 mortal wounds on anything within that area.
Yeah.
Like a tactical nuke.
Yeah, and it looks like it. You know, the model looks exactly like the rules say it is. So, you know, it's cool. Very cool weapon. So we're going to skip over some of these other models, Gus, because there's so many here that it'd probably take all day to talk about them, describe them all. But there's a load of new Guard releases coming out. What we want to look at, though, next is this Rogel Dawn tank. So if you scroll down the page a bit, we should get to the Rogel Dawn tank.
Yeah, I can see there's 3 sizes. We've got the daddy tank, the mummy tank, and the baby tank. They all seem pretty baller. Are they all new ones?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's a Bane Blade that you're looking at on the left, and a Lehman Russ on the right. So those are 2 bookends. obviously the Baneblade is an absolute monster of a tank. The Lehman Russ is a cool tank. It's a lot smaller. And then now you've got the Rogel Dawn tank, which is the mummy tank, as you put it, which is in the middle. It's a nice kind of happy medium between the two, although the Baneblade is still a monster.
Yeah, I can see that on the rules as well. They've increased slightly the toughness. So I think they're recognising it that it's supposed to be a beast mode tank.
It makes sense, doesn't it? It's a bigger tank than a Lehman Russ, smaller than a Baneblade. It's somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure. Trying to see how many points. Don't think that we have the points yet, do we, for it? So, yeah, I'd be interested to see how many of these you can take compared to Lehman Russ, and what, you know, how many points a Baneblade is in comparison. But I expect it's going to be somewhere in the middle. It's a middle tank. It's a mummy tank. It's in the middle.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I definitely would one of those in my Imperial army. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to apologise to any guard players. We're not going to refer to that tank as the mummy tank. Don't worry. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm calling it now. Like the mummy tank.
It's a mummy tank. Nice. And there's a lot of new guard releases coming out, which is nice to see. Like you said before, it's really cool. Some of the artillery they've got. One of the really cool things though that's coming out, which I don't know if you appreciate maybe as much as some of the more kind of hardcore guard players, but there's a Acadian upgrade sprue kit which is coming out, which I'm guessing is any of the Acadian guard that weren't on Cadia when it was cut in half and destroyed.
Well, that's why it comes as a sprue kit, right? Because it's in pieces.
It's in pieces, yeah, that's right, yeah. You're just picking up the pieces from Cadia when it was destroyed. I'm guessing these guys were off planet doing exercises or something, and then the call came over the Vox, and they probably cried for a bit. I don't know. They're too hardcore to cry, probably the Cadian Guard, but yeah. Anyway, anyone that likes to collect guard, just put some Cadian troops in there. Come on, let's do them a favour. They've got no planet anymore.
I do like all these options that are coming now, because there's like so many different head options and stuff. They're almost going after the customized market with this.
Yeah, it is nice to see. I mean, think about it. In the past, you'd have to go and do your own kit bashing for all this stuff. So it is nice to see the customization options. A lot more little things to paint, I have to say, which if you've got a guard army, that's some dedication already. But yeah, really good to see.
Okay, cool. So that wraps our short news segment up for today. Tune back in in a couple of days' time for some more news and rumour ramblings. And remember, if you liked it, hit like. And if you really liked it, hit subscribe.
And if you really, really liked it, hit that bell.
Definitely not touching your bell.
But it sounds so sweet, Gus.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.